past few years, I came across a lot of young professionals who asked me the same thing, the same question, that how do we get a job in sustainability space or make a career in ESG? Um, Now, these people either have, you know, a background in environmental science, or they're MBAs from reputed universities, or they have done their finance education, or they're working in consulting space or operational space. I mean, all of them had a similar question. Now, I had great difficulty in answering those questions because um, when you talk about ESG job or a role as an ESG analyst in a company, it's not about theory, and it's very easy to learn theory through books or courses online, but to get the practical hands-on experience which normally companies require, it's very difficult. And this field is relatively very new. For the past couple of years, it has constantly evolved. It was not even stable, so that when theory becomes stable, it's easier to learn and grow in that field. But when the theory itself is evolving, it's very difficult to make be updated, constantly updated, and grow in that space. So let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Nisha Kohli with more than 2.5 decades of experience in the field of finance, corporate governance, and sustainability advisory. My work has involved helping organizations to implement ESG strategies and also to help them reduce financial risk, regulatory changes, and now increasingly focused on sustainability disclosures such as ISSB, CSRD, and SASB. So, and as these acronyms I'm talking, these are relatively new also. So companies everywhere are talking about ESG. They announce sustainability commitments, they publish climate targets, and they speak about responsible businesses all the time. But when you actually look inside the organization, you often see that there are very few people who know how to measure, analyze, and report these things. Very often, even the largest of organizations, like $20 billion businesses, would have a very small sustainability or ESG team. So there is a great deal of gap between the ambition and the capability, and that's where new career opportunities are emerging in case of corporates. Now, let me explain to you what ESG jobs actually look like. When people hear the term ESG career, they sometimes imagine it's related to environmental or maybe environmental activism, but inside companies, ESG work looks very different. It's more analytical, it's structured, and it's increasingly, because of the standards or the reporting frameworks, now it's connected to finance and risk management. And one of the fastest growing roles today in ESG reporting space, which companies are now expected to publish structured sustainability disclosures aligned with standards such as International Sustainability Standards Board, ISSB. It means that in practice, they need people inside the organization to collect data, to verify the metrics, and to translate those data points into operational information, and leading to disclosures that investors can actually understand. So another major area which companies, they are looking for people, is carbon accounting. Now, companies must measure greenhouse gas emissions according to methodologies which are developed under Greenhouse Gas Protocol, and this can become quite complex. Of course, there can be external organizations which can assist companies, but inside also companies need people who can collect data, understand data, validate the data, because auditors will be also auditing those emissions. So calculating the emissions across the supply chain, that requires a lot of analytical work and understanding of the data architecture. So there are the third area, there are professionals which are required to work on climate risk, so that they can analyze the changes in the regulation, changes in the climate situations, and they can read and understand the climate scenarios, etc. So the skills that are required for this job are finance, analytical, data analytical skills, governance, and also to understand the strategy, KPIs, and metrics. Another question that students ask me about this field is that is ESG actually a viable career financially? That's an interesting question though, but like any profession, the outcome depends on the skills you develop. So in global markets such as United States or Europe, or even in Australia, entry-level ESG analysts typically earn between $65,000 to $90,000 per annum. Now, in India, if we talk about entry-level ESG analyst salaries, usually would fall between 4 lakh to 8 lakhs annually. Now, with experience, these managers can go from 12 lakhs to 25 lakhs or even more, and senior sustainability leaders in multinational companies can earn significantly higher compensation. And that's what's interesting is that many of these roles barely were present 10 years ago, and they are emerging as companies are integrating sustainability into core business decision making space. Next, I would love to talk about the ROI, how practical it is to invest in courses such as ESG. Now, whenever someone considers learning a new skills, the natural question is whether it's worth the investment. Now, let's take a simple example related to this. Suppose someone takes a specialized ESG reporting course, which can cost around, if in terms of dollars, it can cost around $200 to anywhere between $500. And in India, if we talk about it, can cost anywhere between 15 to 20,000 INR. And if that training helps them to secure a role earning, let's say 6 lakhs per annum, that would be 50,000 per month, which means the cost of the course is covered roughly between 2 weeks of salary. From a financial perspective, that's a very, very strong return. So, but the real value is not just the first job. When you grow in your career, when you build a career in this and you expand, and this field is also expanding, so companies face increasing pressure to manage their sustainability risks. So as in when you enter into this space and you upskill yourself, then you can even earn higher money in this field. Now, one thing I often tell my students or to our interns that don't focus only on ESG theory. Companies that are looking for people who understand how ESG works inside the organization. For example, let's take a question like, how sustainability metrics are verified, or how carbon emissions are calculated, how ESG disclosures are structured, or how climate risk influences corporate decisions. Now, ESG those questions are not related to philosophy or theory. These are more technical questions. So they actually relate to technical capability. And professionals who develop these capabilities will have a significant competitive advantage over others. So if you are thinking about entering the ESG field, this is actually a very interesting moment to do so. You are at the right time. The industry is still evolving and many of them are advertising. You can check that on LinkedIn Jobs, that how many companies have advertised for ESG related careers, and organizations are beginning to build their internal capability now. Earlier they were relying on consultants, but now they've realized that it has to be built inside the organization. So that would lead to lots of career opportunities for students and even junior professionals. So if you want to explore more, we also provide certified ESG reporting analyst program, which is online, which is very reasonably priced, which can provide you practical skills required for these roles. And if this conversation was useful, consider subscribing for more discussions on ESG careers, sustainable finance, and the future of corporate sustainability. Thank you. Look forward to keeping in touch.